Welcome back, everybody. Rodrigo here. Another episode. And we're doing something a little bit different today. If you've been following along or if we've chatted, you've likely heard that Nolan and I are parting ways. We're going to be working still together on Asheville Real Estate News. It's still going to be a joint effort project. But as far as the actual real estate investing side of things, we are moving in different directions. And we thought it'd be helpful and important to just kind of have a conversation about that, just so you guys can know where we're coming from and why we're doing it and our thought process around it. I think we also really kind of get into some important things about just transitioning and goal setting and what it looks like when you start making moves and how long some of those moves can take to really get you in a position to chase whatever your bigger long-term goals are. So really hope you all enjoy this conversation. It's a little bit on the shorter end, but I really think it's been a fun one, and again, just good opportunity to express some very public gratitude for all the work that Nolan has done and just how fun it's been to work with him over the last 4 years. So thanks for tuning in, and please connect with Nolan and send him some love and let him know how much you guys have enjoyed working with or listening to this podcast and all the work that he's put into this. So enjoy, and we'll talk to you all next week. Take care. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always fun to chat with you on camera and quote unquote on the record and stuff. So
yeah, it doesn't happen very often. I edit all the videos, so every time I just like, I wish I could just speak more concise. Like I just stutter through everything I say. So that's the goal for this episode. I'm gonna point it out to everyone. So maybe there's some pressure to speak clearly.
Get that accountability piece there. Yeah. Well, do you want to maybe kind of share with everybody why we're having this conversation and like why like we're having another, because we don't do a ton of episodes, just like the two of us.
Yeah, maybe one or two a year?
Yeah, about that. So
okay, yeah, I don't know, I guess partly we can make this conversation whatever it needs to be. Is this a goodbye conversation?
Yeah, well, no, because all right, I will have this. I'll explain. So Nolan and I, we've been working together for like 4 years now, right?
Since 2016.
And been doing, obviously, Asheville Real Estate News is what it is because of all the work that Nolan's done to produce it and get it syndicated and all of that stuff, and it's been amazing. And then on the actual cash buyer side, all the work as far as managing properties and just jumping through hoops and dealing with attorneys and all of that, it's been a good run. It's been a pleasure. But now you're moving on and doing your own thing. Well, staying involved in the Asheville Real Estate News, thankfully. But as far as the actual investing side of things, you're kind of doing your own thing now.
Yeah. Like you kind of touched on over the last 4 years at Asheville Cash Buyers, I've kind of worn all the hats over the years as we've changed things around, and now I'm making a change.
Yeah, and do you remember 4 years ago what it felt like to make the change, going from what was stable then to like the uncertainty, and then like how's it feel to go from stability to uncertainty again?
Well, this is a lot different, and I do remember because in the beginning when we first met, I was like probably the kid that you just couldn't get to go away. It was in a way
that's exactly what it was, in a good way.
Yeah, and like it was just like whatever I can do, like I just was like constantly like knocking on the door.
Yeah,
because I just wanted an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so there also, like, there wasn't a whole lot of partly is like I didn't have many expenses and everything. Like I'm kind of in a different position now.
Right.
But there was nothing to lose, and I don't remember there being a whole lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, you felt like there was just pretty much upside then 4 years ago.
Absolutely, because anything was better than
what you were
nothing.
doing. So. How do you feel now? Do you feel similar, or is it totally different and like not even relatable?
It probably is relatable, but I don't really necessarily feel like it's relatable. Because I would say that I never thought I'd be back in this position again where it's like, I've got to figure out what to do with my life and all of a sudden kind of thing. But
to be 18 and think you're never going to have that conversation again with yourself, like
well, yeah, but from my perspective, it was like I was going straight into what I always thought I was going to do, which is real estate. Not that I'm leaving necessarily real estate. It's just kind of like
a tweak in it,
refocusing. So yeah, I just thought it would be like kind of evolving and just slowly grow into different things.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it hasn't, it's just in a different way.
Sounds like it's maybe being a little bit more abrupt than you had initially envisioned.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like when you go skydiving. I'm not jumping out of the plane, I'm getting kicked out of the plane. Kind of. It's like, I would love to just kind of ride on the plane. I'll jump when I'm ready. And I was like, nope, we're going.
Have you gone skydiving on that note?
No.
Okay. You never will?
No.
I feel like we need to like sit on that for a second. You never would go skydiving?
Nope. No interest.
Just zero desire, like nothing.
Exactly.
Huh. I went skydiving because I was afraid of heights. And I felt like I was like, got to do it to like, I don't know, some weird prove it to myself type of thing, I guess.
I understand that, and I'm like that in some ways, but not about this.
Not
like,
about
I have
that?
A friend who's a pilot. And he loves to skydive, and I'm just like, oh, have fun with that. Like, I'll go fly with you. Yeah, I'm not jumping out.
Fair enough. Well, so what are you going to be doing? Let's. Why don't you focus on that? All right. Yeah. Start there.
With what I'm going to be doing.
Like
okay.
What's your focus shifting from, and what's it shifting to?
Well, the focus shifting from has been really, in layman's terms, is like residential to commercial, like multifamily. Right. Mm-hmm. So, as everyone probably knows, with Asheville cash buyers, like we buy and sell single family homes not as agents but as investors, and then through that we cherry pick rentals along the way. And that's pretty much as clear and concise as I think it can be.
Perfect. Yes.
And now the focus and the shift and the goal is to get into the commercial multifamily side of, I don't know, I'd say my main focus or goal pursuit is manufactured home parks. Mm-hmm. And then I recently looked at an apartment deal in Spartanburg, and that kind of opened my eyes to apartments as well. Right.
But your initial preference or kind of where your focus is going to be is in mobile homes, is what you're saying?
Correct, yeah.
And I do want to say is like, do you remember, I think we've seen exact same chairs and everything when we were talking about like goals for 2020. We both had the same. We thought we were going to do this like multifamily commercial thing as a joint effort. And I think it's important to just point out, like, I realized that that's not really what I wanted to do. And that it's not something that, I don't know, it could be as simple as saying like the work needed to get to what that would look like wasn't necessarily something I was ready, wanting, or willing to do at the moment. And very much like, I'm going to stick in my lane right now. And you were like, I want to go down that path, which is kind of why I guess that's the getting pushed out of the airplane. The forced lane change.
And I have two things to say to that. Like, from my perspective, as far as your decision, like, totally makes sense. Yeah. Like, maybe you felt this way, didn't quite realize it until like all this pandemic stuff hit.
100%. Yeah.
Obviously, the strains on the economy and income and everything else kind of forced you to refocus on what the priorities were and what was, paying the bills and what you enjoy doing as well and what you want to put your time into. At least that's how I see it from why you made the decision you did. And obviously, there's no hard feelings on mine. Like, I totally understand it and respect it. Yeah. And I think it's an important thing to be able to see. In your own shoes.
No, and I think you summarized. I just wanted to bring it up because if people have been following the journey, they'd be like, "Wait a second, what happened?" And so I just wanted to bring some clarity to that there's just a pivot. I think a lot of people have been making pivots, and it just so happens that both of our pivots kind of go hand in hand, but also have like that ripple effect of moving in different directions.
Yeah, and the multifamily space is something like, even back in 2016, like I wanted to find a way to get into it. And then,
I mean, the first day you walked in the door, you're like, just so you know, this is why I'm doing this, because this is where I want to go. I want to buy apartments and multifamily. That was like from the very beginning, you were super clear about that. So
one thing you told me, not to go off on a different point.
No, go for it. Let's go.
It's like the first time we met and you were like, look, real estate is something that you don't try it for 6 months. It's like it's something that you try for 5 years. Yeah. And then you decide if you want to do it. And I'm approaching my 5-year mark. Not that I'm necessarily getting out of real estate, but that's something that I kind of reflect on a lot. Is like, moving out of single family isn't because I didn't put my time in there. It's primarily because I don't enjoy it. Yeah, and I think that's super true. Is like, you're, very familiar with it. You understand that. Obviously all of us have things to learn, but it's not for competency that you're moving on. Yeah. Like, you're obviously been very able and competent in that arena, and just, I think, makes sense because you're following what you always said you wanted to do.
But so how does it feel? Like where you're on the precipice of this transition and like really going out and pursuing this full time for the first time?
Yeah, I'd say I haven't really announced it to that many people.
Now
Like,
you have.
my family doesn't know. Like,
Oh, really?
my girlfriend arguably doesn't know. Like,
Why?
I don't know. I kind of keep my cards close to my chest until it's like I don't want to be the guy
Until
who
you're on the podcast?
talks about everything that he's
Yeah.
gonna do and then never does it. Like I'd rather just be like, oh yeah, hey, like I bought
This happened?
Yeah, this is what I do now.
So you hadn't. I did not realize that your family and your girlfriend did not know or anything.
Well, girlfriend knows that you and I are kind of going our separate ways on good terms, but as far as like what I'm gonna do, like she doesn't quite know, and arguably I don't either. It's like there's a lot of uncertainty here.
Fair enough.
As far as like how much runway I can go. Until something comes together, or
Right.
when it does, or kind of what I'm gonna have to do in the short term to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
No, I'm still kind of sitting on you hadn't told anybody. I find that to be funny and interesting.
I think that's pretty in character for myself as well.
That's true. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised there. What are you looking forward to the most though, and having the kind of totally on your own type of feeling? If there is anything you're looking forward to, or unless it's just like, oh boy.
I'd say I look forward to kind of the same things I did on the residential side,
Yeah.
but on a larger scale. Like I enjoyed the deal structuring. I enjoyed looking at deals, and like I'm excited to move to Alabama for 3 months to
Put something
watch
together.
people move mobile homes around and kick
Yeah.
tenants out and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know. So I guess I'm just really looking forward to getting my hands dirty in something that I'm excited and feel passionate about to be building for myself.
Yeah. That makes sense. Is there anything you think you're going to miss?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. It's like like I said, it was like I'm not really so much the one who's jumping out of I'm jumping out of the airplane, but like there's a lot of pressure for me to jump out of the airplane in a good way.
Yeah.
And so like there's a lot of certainty that I'm leaving behind, which is a good thing to be leaving behind, but it's it's a good feeling to kind of have
It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Plus like I feel like we have pretty good camaraderie and stuff too. Like I enjoy
Absolutely.
working with you, so
Yeah.
like, that's different too, and everything else. So
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss that component of it. As far as a lot of the things we've developed have been in just like random brainstorming sessions and just having random conversations, and that's always been good. And obviously, hopefully, that doesn't go away. And instead of brainstorming on the same business, that conversation just changes to brainstorming on our respective separate businesses and just seeing how that plays out, and that'll be fun and exciting.
Yeah, one thing I've realized is like with you, like I've never guided the ship before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's like, okay, well, what do I need to come in here and execute on every day? Well, it's like, well, in order to figure out what I need to execute on every day, I need to have weekly goals. In order to have weekly goals, like I need to figure out what my monthly goals are. Like I have my yearly goal, but it's like I need to break that down, and I never really grasped why you were so adamant about that until recently.
Do you remember the podcast we recorded? It was like end of December. We're talking about like whether your goal setting is like a skill. Do you have a different like opinion? Like, or
yeah, everyone told me I was wrong for arguing my point, so I have a different opinion.
Really? I still don't think you're wrong, because I think it's intrinsic, but like it could go either way. But how do you view it now, or what's your feeling around goal setting then?
I mean, I never argued against the importance of it.
Right. It was just whether it's a skill or.
I guess I always kind of looked at it as it's like a tool.
Yeah.
Like is using a screwdriver a skill? I mean, somewhat, but more or less, it's just a tool to get a task done.
Yeah.
So.
Have you enjoyed having a little bit more of the like intentionality around the goal setting, or like the pressure around it?
Yeah, but it's almost more out of necessity.
I know that when I do goal setting and stuff like that, especially sometimes when it feels like cloudy as far as like I really don't know what to, like that part always helps me like focus and gives me peace of mind, because it's like, okay, might not necessarily feel resolved, but I know like what to work on and feel good about like the action plan. Have you kind of had any sort of similar feelings, or has it been different?
My feelings have come from like I'll make my list of like 5 things I need to accomplish today,
Yeah.
and I'll be at like number 2, and I'll be like, what am I gonna do for number 3? And it's just I'm like I haven't had a lot of clarity in what I need to accomplish on the daily basis to hit my goals, and you can't just kind of like,
Yeah.
you can't have like days where you just don't accomplish anything, especially when you're kind of on a timeline like I am. So I had to look and be like, what do I need to be accomplishing each week to move towards the goal? Is I want to be at 100 units by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that has been the goal since January. And, it's
Right.
June, almost the end of June now. And it's,
Right. But I mean, the
are-
cool thing about multifamily is like one transaction can meet that goal, right? It's not like it's not like you're behind necessarily, right?
Yeah.
Like you're arguably right on schedule.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing is like it took you 9 months to do your first deal.
Yeah.
It took me maybe 6 or 7 to get my first contract when I started working with you. And so, like, I understand, like, the patience and everything. Like, luckily, like, I have enough experience and
You've
doing
seen it
this
play
kind of
out,
stuff where, like, I don't have different expectations, but
Yeah, but urgency's still a real thing.
yeah. And there's like all kinds of new skill sets, and I'm building new relationships that I didn't have, and it's all similar and all different at the same time.
Yeah, and to be clear, I mean, throughout all this, you're still going to be part of Asheville Real Estate News again. So it's that part we're still going to be working together on.
Yeah. I mean,
I just want to like.
it's kind of because at the end of the year or the beginning of this year, like, not much has really changed. It's just kind of like you had your epiphany on which way you wanted to go, and I would.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting. So either way, like, I don't know if if there's anything else you want to add. I just thought it'd be good to kind of like have this conversation, give some good clarity on it, and let the world know like how to connect with you if they do want to connect with you about the multifamily stuff and follow your journey around that. And maybe you can come back and do some solo episodes giving updates.
Yeah,
And I have to ask you on the spot because every other time you're like, I don't know.
That's fair. I don't know. I've toyed with even starting my own podcast, but then it's like at the same time, it's like, how credible am I to be talking about anything? So, there's always that factor. And I don't know if I want to do an interview-based style show. Mm-hmm. So then it's,
Yeah, well, like, again, you're welcome to have your own mini series here. I would be a huge advocate for it. So hopefully you come around on that.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to hear me talk more, like, let me know, because I would need the validation
to talk more. Yeah. Well, where do people connect with you then, man? So, I mean, obviously, you can still connect with Nolan on any of the Asheville Real Estate News social media, for sure. But what about your own platform or whatnot?
Yeah. My personal Instagram is Nolan Freeland. I'm not very active on there, but I do look at it. Should I give my cell phone number?
You can.
My email is Nolan, Nolan, at alpinecre.com. Always on there. And so, yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to chat about anything, even if it's just talking multifamily or real estate or whatever, like, happy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. Well, thank you once again for the last 4 years. It's been super, super good. It's been a real pleasure. Excited to have this conversation again 6 or 8 months from now and talk about what it feels like to have 100 units. Yeah. And you can tell us what that feels like.
I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, man. Well, thank you. Any parting words or anything else you want to share or get off your chest?
Not really. I mean, it's just, a work in progress every day. So we'll see what comes of it. But I'm excited and looking forward to whatever happens.
Cool. Well, best of luck, man.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Sweet.